Hello and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Omogbe in Lagos.
For the greetings to you wherever you are in the world watching us. In London, I'm Austin Okonakpan.
All right, Austin, it's going to be a big show today simply because of what's currently going on, especially with IMC and NPFL and NFF. Yes, the three together. We'll digest that. It's something that has to do with Remo Stars and Gombe United. The disciplinary committee has decided that, look, the point deduction of Remo Stars, well, it's no longer how they are restoring it. We'll talk about that on this program. And also touch down on the NBA. Boston Celtics, another team that have qualified to the semifinals of the Eastern Conference Best of 7 series. The first round, it was a good one for the Boston Celtics, 4-2 over Atlanta Hawks. We'll talk about that. And also touch down on NPFL, the games for this weekend, and also the politics behind what's currently going on in that league. And also, of course, EPL, I mean, it's getting on. We'll review the game that happened yesterday between Tottenham and Manchester United and other games across the league. And also talk about Napoli. Their fans are celebrating. Yes, by this Sunday, they will be able to win a third Scudetto. That's if they beat their opponent. Of course, the other one had to draw or lose to Inter Milan. So there's a whole lot to talk about on the show tonight, Austin. So, Austin, we start off with what's happening in Napoli, because it's a frenzy. They are celebrating. Victor Osimhen already is an icon in this city because everyone is wearing that his shade for his protective gear that he used after his injury. But then it's something to really celebrate when we know that a Nigerian is actually one of the reasons they are celebrating right there in Naples ahead of their first Scudetto.
What a story. A young Nigerian, Victor Osimhen. When he was leaving Lille to Napoli, Cecilia, we were wondering, is he going to, make an impact? And there was that ugly talk when some critics were trying to compare him to the legendary Diego Armando Maradona. And Victor Osimhen stayed focused. Napoli stayed focused. They just wanted to see how they can start the season and start it properly. And they got off to a fine start. Victor Osimhen scoring goals almost every match day. I'm so proud that this thing is happening when Victor Osimhen went to Napoli. They are waiting to win their first Scudetto in 33 years. 33 years waiting, Cecilia. What a story. And when they won Juve away from home in their last match, the celebration started, and the impact of Victor Osimhen in this Napoli team cannot be quantified.
First title in 33 years, yes, 99. That was the last time during time of Diego Maradona. That was the last time they won a Serie A title. You could understand why they're really celebrating, warming up. No matter what's going to happen on Sunday, they know that, yes, the title will be for them. They may not win it this Sunday, but that premature celebration, whatever they are doing right there in Naples, tells you a whole lot about the fact that Victor Osimhen, that iconic mask that he's wearing, you can see the ladies, everyone actually wearing it just in solidarity with the Nigerian. I mean, he's a second season at Napoli, and of course, he's helping the team to win. And of course, the Naples, literally, they had to, they created a kind of a coffin or a barrier for other teams that have been winning the league. Austin, Juventus, Inter Milan, AC Milan, they've dominated in the past 3 decades. And so what they've decided to do was to create a memorial, more like it, put the flags of these clubs in a coffin, more like just telling them they're dead. It's now the turn of Napoli to rule Italian Serie A for the first time in 33 years. So I understand why they're celebrating, and I'm also happy that, yes, the Nigerian is the reason why they are all celebrating.
They will be playing Salernitana, with the club is ranked 14 on the log, and Lazio will be taking on Inter Milan. Lazio has not beaten Inter Milan at the San Siro forever, so I don't think that's going to happen on Sunday. So if Lazio doesn't win, it just keeps it open for Inter Milan to go all the way, and for Napoli to go all the way on Sunday. And they are playing in Naples, right there at home. So it will be good to see them win, convincingly, and then scoop the Scudetto. What a story. I love this story because it tells the quality not just tell, confirms the quality of Victor Osimhen. He's young, he's agile, he's a hard worker, he's committed, he's been under a lot of criticism, he stayed focused, you know, to go through this. And I was reading today that the Confederation of African Football, they've put him in the Hall of Fame for, I think, the most productive under-17s that have come out of Africa. And I totally agree with that honor. We're talking about him last night on the show, that we just discovered him in 2015 when he went to the under-17 team to win the under-17 World Cup. And he has stayed with that consistency, you know, scoring goals. Cecilia, look, this is what it means to be a role model to young persons. They can look at this Victor Osimhen story and be inspired.
Obviously, that's the way. This is something you really want to, you know, youngsters can actually look forward to. You know, when we're talking to the media officer of the Golden Eaglets, yes, they talked about the fact that the coach, Unduka Ogbade, is actually using himself, you know, to kind of propel the players. I mean, give them a pep talk on how they can really prepare for this. So when they are seeing Victor Osimhen, I believe most of them, especially the forwards, who obviously wants to follow his footsteps. And if they do that, of course, they'll also be successful. We're wishing Napoli all the best. I hope they win it this Sunday, so the celebration that they started on a Friday can continue. And I love the fact that they have to move the game from Saturday to Sunday for, of course, security reasons. That's the reason they are doing that. So the celebration will not affect so many people, and the police will be on ground to actually, you know, take care of whatever may happen. And that's the coffin I was talking about. So they have the flyers, the flags of those teams that have been winning the Serie A, Juventus, Inter Milan, AC Milan, more like they are buried. Now, this is our turn to rule Serie A, and hopefully they have their wishes granted on Sunday. All right, Austin, so let's go to the NBA. Of course, it's the time for the playoffs. And you know, not so many games are going on. And right now, we are in the semifinals. Eastern Conference all set. So you're going to be having Boston Celtics. Of course, this 76ers, Philadelphia 76ers, they've been waiting since on Saturday, you know, waiting for the Boston Celtics to conclude their own first round best-of-7 series. And that happened early hours of this morning, where they were able to defeat the Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young, of course, helped them in Game 5, you know, took it to Game 6. So we're thinking maybe they're going to force a Game 7 and they go to Boston to finish it at TD Gardens. But it just didn't happen because Jason Tatum got other ideas. And Al Horford, who happens to be, it was with Atlanta Hawks from 2007 to 2016. Now, this guy, I mean, had to give the big shot, the big threes, chipping 10 points, 12 rebounds, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. And, of course, that performance alone also helped the Boston Celtics to beat the Atlanta Hawks 4-2. And the game 6 actually ended 128 and 120. That's a good one.
Fantastic for the Boston Celtics. That's another team that needs to show some consistency, and they're doing just that. Tells you the amount of work Ime Udoka did with this team. Unfortunately, what happened. Now he will be going to the Houston Rockets. But the Celtics, you know, showing that, look, in this Eastern Conference, we can hold our own. And they did just that, you know, by pushing aside the Hawks, which is also a very decent team. 128 to 120, 8 points difference. But you could tell that they needed to, you know, blow it out and then, you know, stay focused in the series. Going to the semifinals now, probably they will need to re-strategize, play more as a team, take pressure off some of the key players, and then advance in the playoffs, Cecilia. Yeah,
that's the thing, because they all already want to get in and get something out of it, because the team they're playing, Philadelphia 76ers, had a sweep over the Brooklyn Nets, and since on Saturday, they've been waiting for this game to be concluded. But then we thought it was going to end in Game 5, but because somehow they squandered 30 points lead in that Game 5, and then they just couldn't recover from that. But this time around, these guys were ready to literally die on the court for them to nick the ticket today. And of course, they were able to do that. Let's take a listen to Jason Tatum, of course, who had 32 points on the night. Jaylen Brown had 32 points on the night. Jason Tatum had 30 points on the night. Marcus Smart also came out big, scoring 22 points on the night. I mean, all of them had to rally round for them to be able to get this particular victory against the Atlanta Hawks.
It's been great. It's been great all season. Just managing personalities, managing games. The season is long, right? We've had great periods. We had periods where, we slipped a little bit. And, his faith in us, our faith in him. And essentially I say it all the time, this is like a relationship. We all on the same page. And as much as he's helping us, we're helping him because we're all on the same team. And I think he always finds a way to maintain his poise, right? Especially as the coach, the leader of a team. That's important, right? When things are going great, you stay the same. When things aren't going great, you stay the same. He's done a great job. And I think, we did a better job today of not being stagnant, right? A lot of those pick and rolls, they blitz in, isolation, they blitz, hit smart. He had a couple layups and kickouts to Al, right? Just creating an advantage in late game situations instead of always, getting a switch, ISO. There's times for that. But, our offense is most dynamic when, we're all moving, cutting, passing up good shots with great shots.
Now you understand how important this win is actually for the Boston Celtics. And if you take a look at the statistics, Boston Celtics actually finished 18 of 42 from 3-point range. So each of the starter actually, had a shot, got their 3-pointers right, which was really a remarkable one for Boston Celtics on the night.
Particularly when you win on the road, Cecilia. You remember they started so well in the first quarter. I think they won 33-30, and then it sustained the momentum, even though the Atlanta Hawks came really hard, tied it at 33-33 in the second quarter. The first quarter was 35-34 for the Boston Celtics, and then the Hawks tied it up 33-33, and I knew we were going to have a big one. The Hawks went on to win 33-30 in the third quarter. But this is how you know a team that really wants to win on the road. So the Boston Celtics, they dug deep, and with Jason Tatum doing what he knows how to do best and holding on for the team, they did everything and they won the final quarter by 30 to 20 points, and that was just good enough for them to go on to win 128 to 120 points. Let's listen to the Hawks. I think they're also a decent team. They will have lessons from this defeat.
I mean, Marcus was being way more aggressive as far as and he wasn't leaving me as much, like going to help. And because early in the first half, they were playing more team defense, and when he was helping, I was able to catch the ball with a lot of dribble and attack right away and create some space that way. But in the second half, he was more just connected to me, and when I didn't have the ball, he was still facing me and still connected to me. And I think, they just picked up the physicality and things like that, and the rest were allowing them to play and things like that. So it was in their favor. So it's tough. The team we were playing tonight was, probably now the favorites. You know what I'm saying? They've been playing really well all year. They got a mixture of veterans and a mixture of young players. They have a goal of winning the championship, and really that's their main goal. And coming off their finals, run, you can tell they've been there before. And when you got vets like that and guys around that, are telling the young guys and making sure everybody's in their places, it makes it a lot easier. And so you can just tell they got a team around them that, they got a mixture of everything. So from starters to coming off the bench, and you just got to tip their hat sometimes when they make shots. And Jalen and Jason, those dudes, made some plays tonight. So you just got to tip their hat sometimes and give credit where it's due.
I think Austin, obviously, he's really not happy about that. Especially, he ran out of steam in the Game 5. He literally carried the team. But Game 6, somehow he ran out of steam. There was a time he missed a 12 of 13 shots over the final 2 quarters. Trae Young couldn't do much. But overall, he had 30 points on the night, 10 assists. But he finished just 9 of 28 from the field.
It tells you that no matter how good you are individually, when you play basketball, it's still a team sport. Your teammates need to come for you, and you need to avoid those errors. Those margins count. And he mentioned it that the Boston Celtics have better defense. Michael Jordan said it over and over again that for you to win any game in basketball, you must play good defense. You know, if your defense is faulty and you make those little errors, you will get punished. You know, so that's why I'd like to see the game between the Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. Let's see. You know, who actually rules this Eastern Conference? Because now, Doc Rivers has mentioned that Joel Embiid might just be missing for game one. He's 50-50 after that bad fall he had. So, at the end of the day, the Boston Celtics must prove this sort of performance that we saw them put out against the Atlanta Hawks, Cecilia.
I hope they're able to do that because the number 1 seed in the East, they're out talking about Milwaukee Bucks. So number 2 seed and number 3 seed meeting each other starting on Monday. Well, Austin, you won't have to wait so long because on Monday, then they're going to start the semifinals. Of course, tonight, we'll be seeing if the Lakers can actually close it against the Memphis Grizzlies. And you also have Sacramento Kings and the Golden State Warriors also trying to close that. Both games are 3-2, 3-2 on both sides. We'll see what's going to happen and see. I mean, I'm waiting for the clash between the Golden State Warriors and the Lakers in the seven.
I want game 7.
I don't want a game 7. Austin, if Lakers should go to game 7 to Memphis, I'm not sure they'll be able to win. I doubt. The Lakers will send this season to Memphis and Cleveland, so they need to win in LA tonight.
So if you have the quality and you've been giving us good competition, take it to game 7. What's the NBA playoff without game 7? I want to see game 7.
Okay, all right. I wouldn't want to see that because I do not trust the Lakers. I don't trust them. Especially with LeBron coming up with 15 points. I know maybe he's actually reserving his points for tonight against the Memphis. Maybe that's what he wants to do, close it out in game 6. I want it closed out tonight. For the Warriors and Sacramento Kings, because of Mike Brown, maybe Sacramento Kings, but I doubt. That can go to game 7, I don't care. But for the Lakers, they need to close that tonight.
They're both going to game 7. Come back here and talk about it next week.
I know, because I can spend the whole time talking about the NBA tonight. But then, Austin, NPFL, of course, going to get our attention. Do we start with the politics first or start with the games? Take your pick with the games.
You know, Cecilia, when I saw the press release from the NFF, I was saying, what's going on? You know, and people started sending me messages. Could this be another NFF drama series? I said, nah, it doesn't come close. It's no drama series. But let's first talk about the action. Let's let people know that the show must still go on. We have games coming up this weekend, and then we can just get into the administration side of it. Okay,
talking about the games coming up this weekend. Let's start off with what we have in Group B. You have Abia Warriors and Dakada FC will be in action starting on most of the games. There are some games you're going to be playing on Saturday, and of course you also have other games coming up on Sunday. But let me start with this one. Abia Warriors and Dakada FC will be in action. You also have Bayelsa United and Sunshine Stars. They have Enugu Rangers and Wiki Tourists. Of course, they are no longer in trouble because the disciplinary committee has actually helped them a lot. Lobby Stars and Niger Tornadoes also be in action. That's talking about Group B. Now, move over to Group A. El-Kanemi Warriors and Enyimba are in action. Gombe United and Shooting Stars. Nasarawa United and Aqua United, I believe right now, they are really not so happy. But they also have Aqua United and Plateau United. Yeah, these are the games you have for this weekend, talking about Nigeria Professional Football League. And of course, Austin has been talking about the fact that, well, just maybe we start off with this one. But Austin, yes, we're starting off with this one. The games we'll be playing this weekend, starting with some of the big matches. We're talking about Enyimba, El-Kanemi Warriors, not so big. Gombe United and Bene Insurance. Yes, that's another game you want to look forward to. Will they continue their unbeaten run? Or then Remo Stars and Aqua United is also another game you have to look out. And Remo Stars, Aqua United, I think that game, there's going to be a whole lot of controversy surrounding that game simply because of what happened, you know, what the disciplinary committee is. But Austin, which one is going to get you talking in here before we go to the political aspect or the boardroom aspect of the game?
Definitely, that Group A will get me talking. You know, you just mentioned Aqua United, Remo Stars and Aqua United. I think Aqua United lost the first leg, so this one will definitely get us talking. Now, if you take a look at that Group A, aside the league leaders who are still unbeaten, Bendel Insurance, Enyimba, Aqua United, Plateau United, and now Remo, after the 3 points that were docked off them have been reinstated, they come back into prominence in that Group A. So out of those 4 teams, two important teams from that Group A will not make it to the Super 6. And that's what makes this weekend encounter one we must, look forward to. I just hope that we're not going to see terrible football. I just hope that it will be without drama. But I'd like to see what Nasarawa will do against Enyimba. I'd like to see what Aqua United will do against Remo Stars. Aqua United enjoying fine form, won in the league, went away to beat Wiki Tourist in the Federation Cup. So the same thing with Remo Stars with this decision now from the NFF disciplinary committee. There's a new vibe around the team. Now they will believe again that they can, give it a final push. I think we've got about 3 more matches to the end of this round, and then to advance.
We need to go on the break, right?
Oh, that's it. Let's go on a big break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Sports Tonight on Channels Television. Just before we went on that break, we're previewing games in the Nigeria Premier Football League. Matchday 16 already. Remember, it's an abridged league season, so we have 2 groups, Group A and Group B. 3 teams from each of those groups will advance to the Super 6. 2 from each of those groups will get relegated. 2 from Group A, 2 from Group B. And we're just talking about some of the fixtures. I'll definitely get us talking in Group A. El-Kanemi Warriors will take on Enyimba. Enyimba, they're looking for some prominence on that Group A table. Nasarawa United, Kwara United will take on Plateau United. It says Remo taking on Aqua United for Matchday 16. And then Cecilia, while we're also taking a look at Group A, Group B has also got some interesting mouth-watering fixtures.
Obviously, I mean, when you take a look at that Group B that you just mentioned, and we look at some of the games that we will be looking at, you have Bayelsa United and Sunshine Stars, Enugu Rangers and Wiki Tourists. You also have Lobby Stars and Niger Tornadoes. Now, these are some of the games you want to look at, and then you see where these teams are standing. That's why it's really important. Lobby Stars are still top of the table. Doma United are second, and Wiki Tourists are the bottom. Dakada also are bottom. They're not safe. Bayelsa United also, and of course Enugu Rangers will definitely want to see what they can get out of the game against Wiki Tourists, so at bottom. They need to win this one. No excuse for Enugu Rangers. That's the only way they can actually move on top. They may not make the Super 6, but from what it's looking like, they can still make that Super 6. That's if they win their last 3 games, which is they can't, because 16th from 15 games, not looking good. Let's just leave it. It's just for them to stay on.
Because it looks like they can only do their best to stay top 5 football, because it will almost be very, I don't know how I'm going to come here.
There's no mathematics.
Rangers getting, relegated from league football in Nigeria. That's very difficult. So for now, they just need to try to win their remaining 3 games to stay in the NPFL. But what a story in that Group B for Doma United. We can't stop talking about that team. Giants, killers, staying focused, newly promoted side, doing all the right things for football development. And that's why whenever the issues come and then override the action on the pitch, it's actually heartbreaking. But particularly what we saw today with the NFF disciplinary committee. And when we get into that, because people are beginning to look at the league, clubs are beginning to sit up there. If you mess up, the IMC will dock points off you, give you fines. And when the NFF disciplinary committee now comes back and then reverse some of those decisions, how are we going to get people come invest in league football in Nigeria?
It's a big question. I'm not talking about. I think that's where we are going to next. Talking about what happened this afternoon when NFF, had that statement released from their media. So the decision, they've decided that the 3 points and 3 goals that was deducted will be reinstated, and not just that, and not just that, the person who was the reason why the point was deducted at first, talking about will I use the corporate now? No, I think that's not the right word. The manager who, according to them, Ekene Abubakar, who assaulted the referees, then at the end of the day, they may not be able to, he will not be banned from all football-related activities. He won't be banned. He will still be banned from all football-related activities. But then the 3 points deduction, they've been reinstated. And also the money was supposed to pay to the referee that was assaulted, center referee Uka Ndubisi, is set aside, which is that fine of 250,000 naira. That was because, Remo Stars had to make an appeal to NFF, the disciplinary committee that was just set up, I think 4 days ago. They made this decision. Of course, it simply means Remo Stars now, they have opportunity to now make the Super 6 if they have that 3 points. Once it's the next league table comes out this weekend, you see them actually shooting top after that 3 points is being restored. So, Austin, we're discussing before we came on air that some people are really not happy about this because it doesn't really tell the good story of the league that we are trying to promote. IMC decided that, look, what the manager, the El-Kanemi Abubakar, what he did against the referee, the shove he had, they said it's not an assault, according to the match commissioner, but the match assessor wrote a report and said it was an assault. So according to them, the video evidence that they had and everything they had stated that that was not the case because the state of health of Mr. El-Kanemi on that day wasn't really the one that you have that power to kind of push the referee and assault him. So that's the scenario the way they painted. And of course, at the end of the day, he's been banned. It's the ban, and he still stays. But the fines and the 3 points and the 3 goals, well, reinstated. So we're trying to understand the reason behind this. If he didn't assault the referee, why was he banned? And according to them, it's simply because he had access to a place he wasn't supposed to go to.
At none of the claims.
It's tough, Cecilia, and even listening to you, this isn't the sort of analysis we want to come and be talking about when we talk about league football in Nigeria. We've been enjoying the action so far and want to keep talking about it because it's promoting the league. When the IMC came, by the way, that's the Interim Management Committee, there were issues with the league management company, the former league body in Nigeria, and the Ministry of Sports observed that body and brought in the Interim Management Committee. The IMC, they've been in charge of football with this abridged season, and we've been seeing good play. Now, updates coming out of this, Bendel Insurance, unbeaten in the league after 15 matches, leaders of Group A, Bendel Insurance, they are threatening to pull out of the league if this decision by the disciplinary committee is not reversed. Now, someone will say, it doesn't affect Bendel Insurance in any way. But then again, look at the other side. Referees need to be protected. I remember when this incident happened with Gombe United in Ikene, I said that this is the way to go because referees should be protected. Now, that game was paused. It wasn't the same referee that came out the next day, so that means something went wrong. That's what I'm trying to understand. The Nigeria Football Federation disciplinary committee still has a lot of explanation to do as regards why they are reversing the decision of the IMC. I've been saying this thing over and over again, right from when the league was growing up, that the league body should be independent because the IMC has come out, made a decision, and people are beginning to move on with that. NSF comes now, and then they do a reversal, and now everybody is asking questions. Now, let me just read through some of the decisions from the NFF Disciplinary Committee to let our viewers understand. I see item number 5, the fine of 500,000 naira imposed on Remo Stars Football Club for failure to provide adequate security for the match official before, during, and after the match is hereby set aside. So they're saying now that Remo provided good security. IMC fined them for not providing good security. Let's move on to item number 6. The committee affirms the fine of 500,000 naira imposed on Remo Stars for failure to ensure the restriction of access by unauthorized persons with particular reference to the general manager, Mr. El-Kanemi. 7, the order deducting 3 points because the IMC docked 3 points from Remo Stars and 3 goals because of what happened in that match against Gombe United. So the NFF disciplinary committee set aside that decision. Now, let's come back to number 10. An order banning Mr. El-Kanemi Adams from all NPFL-related activities for the rest of the season is hereby affirmed. You are affirming the ban of the general manager, and then you're reversing the other decisions of the IMC. It's confusing. Now, this is why we're talking about the Remo Stadium, because in the coming weeks, Aqua United might have a problem with this. Enyimba might have a problem with this. Plateau United might have a problem with this. Bendel Insurance, they are safe already, and they have a problem with this decision. But it is what it is. You know, sometimes this decision will not favor everyone. But we're just saying that we had gotten to a stage where the league was beginning to gain followership. Investors were beginning to look at the league again. So now people are asking questions. The NFF must find a way to make sure that if we give confidence to a particular body to organize league football in Nigeria, then you must trust their decision. Cecilia.
Yeah, it is hard to believe, because when you talk about that number 5 again, I mean, when they were defined is that they had, according to the report, they said that of the match commission and center referee, it was discredited simply because they said El-Kanemi admitted that, yes, he had a tap on the chest of the referee, a tap and not a hit. So that's what they were able to come up with. So since it's a tap and it's not a hit, so he will not pay the fine. That means the referee wasn't assaulted. But the reason why he was banned, the ban was affirmed, is simply because, you know, he went to a place that he wasn't authorized to be. That's not going to see the referee. So that's where they are taking, and that's why this is it. And also, of course, according to them also, that the committee had to watch the video clip tendered by Remo Stars, and they saw the center referee actually walking majestically, that's the terms they use, you know, out of the stadium, making calls to unknown persons. I'm quoting them right now verbatim, making calls to unknown persons while he was leaving the stadium. So they said the medical report he presented, he wasn't assaulted. So that's the reason, that it's just a tap on him. Now, the question I'm going to ask is, does he even have the right to touch the referee at all? That begs for question. Maybe it's that touch, that's the reason he was actually banned. I mean, a tap, a hit, what's the difference? No assault.
And if proper security was in place, according to this decision by the NFF, then the GM shouldn't have any access to where that referee is during that game, because you need to protect the referee. So if security was available, how did Mr. El-Kanemi Adams find his way to go and even be talking to the referee? It's so wrong. These are the things we're talking about. Disciplinary committee, we're not saying don't review the decisions of the IMC, but if you bring things contrary to the findings of the IMC, then you must justify it, because their fact is already out there and people have verified their facts. Why didn't the same referee conclude the match that he started officiating a day before, if everything was fine?
So we have to leave it at that. There's so many questions to ask, but if we continue, we will not leave the show. Let's just quickly touch down on what happened yesterday concerning Matchday United. And of course, Tottenham Hotspur and Austin. You know, when we were leaving the show, it was 2-2. And you felt, okay, just maybe United may want to come back and win this. But somehow it just didn't happen. They scored 2 first, and then they ended up conceding goals. And that's the reason Manchester United right now not really looking good. That top 4 position is still shaky. And of course, the coach has been talking about what they gave away. Let's just quickly take a listen to him, what he had to say after the game against Spurs.
Before, I would be happy with the point. And when you see first half, although I don't think we played that brilliant, but we had completely control. We had the overload in the midfield. We used it very well, especially when we switched from the right to the left. We used that overload. We scored both goals. But when you are, be honest, just before we make 2-0, they had a big chance to score 1-1. And also before that, over our right side, we conceded some counters. We were not good in positioning. Already before halftime, we were playing not that well. But after halftime, there was a difference. We lose the control because we were not ball secure. And then you have to go into the fight. And when you lose your battles, when you don't block the crosses, when you don't squeeze out, when you don't block shots, you concede goals, and that's what happened. Finally, you have to be satisfied and take that point. I know they are not robots, and it's a tough shadow, but it can't be. We can't accept. And when you are a player for Man United, when you're wearing this shirt, you have to give it. On every occasion, in every game, and as a team, you have to manage the game, get the win, and then is everyone happy and satisfied, and we will forget everything. But the base is always you give everything, and you have to prepare as a player that you are ready for the game, for the battle, for the fight.
Yeah, be ready to fight, but then they didn't fight, scored 2, conceded 2, and at the end of the day, well, our top 4 is really not looking pretty because Aston Villa breathing down their neck.
Yeah, Cecilia, when people criticize coaches, sometimes I just wonder, do you think the coach is stupid? People have criticized the substitution they made. Why did he bring on Malacia? Why did he bring on Vegas? They are professional footballers. They play for Manchester United. It's a different thing if they come in and they don't do what the coach wants them to do. But when people criticize Erik ten Hag that he didn't know what he was doing by bringing Tottenham are in a very difficult place. They also need all the wins that they can get. Yes, on a good day, Manchester United plays so well. They're not supposed to draw that game 2-2. But Tottenham also needs to heal. They've been hurting, particularly from everything that happened with Conte. They need to prove a point. They're also trying to get a place in Europe. So you're not going to come to White Hart Lane, bust the game for 90 minutes, and Tottenham will just fold their hands and be looking. So when Manchester United fans are crying over that 2-2, and I'm saying that, look, you're taking a point out of London to go prepare for your next match, it's not a loss. But they just feel that because Tottenham had a bad first half, that Manchester United should go on to win. Malacia came on. You don't know why the coach made that substitution. Players pick knocks sometimes. The mental health is also part of this thing. We've always been talking about it. A player can tell a coach, substitute me. What do you want the coach to do? So when Manchester United fans came for Erik ten Hag, I'm just wondering, like, what's going on? Like, Tottenham just wants to lose that one? Anyway, let's take a look at some of the fixtures for tomorrow in the English Premier League. Action continues, and this time around, people will be looking up to see what Manchester City can do. Arsenal will also be watching. There's Crystal Palace taking on West Ham United. That one should definitely get us talking. Brentford, they've been pretty decent. They'll take on Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest now in the deep end of their relegation battle, and they'll be trying to see what they can do when they take on Brentford. While Brighton will take on Wolverhampton Wanderers in the English Premier League. On Sunday, action will resume with AFC Bournemouth hosting Leeds United. Fulham will try to do the unthinkable against Manchester City because Fulham, they are 10th on the log. They've been decent this season. Let's see what they can do. Manchester United will host Aston Villa, who is also a decent team under Unai Emery. Newcastle United will host Southampton, while Liverpool will take on Tottenham Hotspur. Cecilia, I think that's all we can take on the show tonight in London. I'm Austin Okonakwan. In everything you do, remember, let's keep talking sports. Bye for now.
And in Lagos, I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a good night's rest and a happy weekend.